Welcome back to Sunrise, and thanks for staying with us this morning as we continue. Now, it is believed that in South Africa, 1 in every 4 women is physically abused by her intimate partner. Every 6 hours, a woman is killed by her current or former intimate partner. So in light of these recent kidnappings, killings, and abuse of women around the country, women have become more fearful and more aware of going about their everyday lives and men in general. Now, this morning, we're joined by 2 young women, Mogoje as well as Candice Chirwa, to talk about how their lives have been influenced and altered due to these events. Remember, you can be part of our conversation by giving us a call on 011-447-1742 or 011-447-1620. We're also taking your comments on our Facebook and Twitter pages. Now, Candice is 21.
Hello.
And Ndebogeng is 26. Okay, so just for context, because you're about your life now. You're either at school or you're working, and you want to do the things that you've always been told that you can't do, and you want to test if you can do that. How have all these things that have been happening affected you, psychologically, and how you go about doing your everyday life?
Right. Well, thank you for having us today. So firstly, I'm a Wits. I'm doing my honors at Wits, and I'm a black academic trying to understand how it is that I question my society. And I feel that living in this rainbow nation in which we were told that we are free, but as women we're not really free, because it's like every time we walk, we get into an Uber, we get into a taxi, we drive by ourselves, it's almost as if there's a threat or a danger. And I think the sad thing about it is that, men are telling us to be vigilant, but men themselves are not telling or reflecting on why it is that they are the danger to women.
Okay, so is that the same reflection? Is that your same experience?
It's the same, literally the same experience for everybody. Whoever is going to school, whoever that's working, that's what you get to experience every time you step outside.
Okay. When did you become conscious of that? When you got to, when you turned like over 20, or was it something that you're conscious of, let's say, as early as 14, 15? Was it something that was always part of like, okay, I need to be careful, I need to be vigilant, I'm fearful, or you'll only be able to express it now?
Right. I think it's a fair point to make. I've always been aware of it since a young age, especially in high school, just by my parents subliminally telling me, be careful, don't go to the bathroom by yourself, make sure you walk in groups. But I think I was able to express that more in university, being in a space where you can openly express yourself. So being able to say things like men are trash after this whole, Karabu Mokwena's death, I think being able to express ourselves has openly allowed women to express their frustrations about violence in this country.
Okay, and when did you become conscious of it? Because sometimes things are happening around us, but you're not really aware of it, and it doesn't affect you. Like, those things happen.
The truth is that, like, it has always happened, but you somehow, like, you're not so conscious about it, because yes, you see it happening, but you're like, I hope they find them. But like to a point where I actually realized that, okay, this is happening constantly. Like, it's something that every time when I go on social media, it's something that I see, somebody's missing, and it's always a woman.
Okay, but how has that changed you? What I'm trying to understand is, like, has it, for example, has it made you change the way you dress, the way you talk to people, places you go, friends you hang out?
Definitely.
How has
your life changes to, it's not normal anymore. Like, the things you used to do, you're now very precautious about it, because even if when you want to go out, when you want to go dine, for instance, the other time I had to go to Soweto and it was very late. I literally had to use my last money to get an Uber, because that was like the safest thing for me to do, to a point where getting an Uber, you just go in and you get dropped off. But this time around, I even had to tweet the details so that in case anything happens, somebody out there knows the details, know where I was in and stuff. So,
but you tweeting your whereabouts, doesn't that even exposes you more?
I was actually saying that the other time, that we literally, when we say we're not safe, because it's like there's no right thing to do right now. I could tweet to make sure that everybody else then knows at least the last details about me, but still also that puts me in a very vulnerable place. I could not tweet about it, still that puts me in a vulnerable. So we at the point
damned if you do, or damned if you don't.
Understand?
Okay,
you're not safe.
So how does that make you relate to the opposite sex generally?
Well, personally, I think as she said, you know, we're adding, it's a much more extra effort to now say, I need to put my location out there, I need to take a picture of the number plate. And you now sort of have this sort of trust issue towards men that you have never met, men that you don't even know. And I think that's why the men are trash hashtag has been trending for so long, because women are saying, yes, there are a lot of men that are a perceived threat to us, that are a danger to us. And yes, there are some, maybe a few, that have supported us in a variety of levels, but it's not as great as the majority of men should. So I think what we're trying to say to men is that you need to be better, you need to do better. And we're not only advocating to men, we're also advocating to the police to say that we need to change the police system. It can't be the fact that if I've just been raped, I'm being laughed by the police officers, or I'm being sent back to the very same perpetrator who tried to rape me. It can't be that men who murder women only get 15 years to life and maybe will get off good behavior. We need to change our society as a whole.
And from what when you were growing up, I mean, you related to guys, you had friends, you have dreams of like having this kind of boyfriend and all. How has that affected you to say, can I even express myself about I like that guy? And, you know, I used to get in my car, go to a club at 21 by myself. I don't know if that can happen today. And looking at those stories, I'm like, I don't think I could go to the movies by myself. It doesn't look like now you can, your sense of independence, and yet at the same time you're growing up in an era where you're told to be yourself. How do you deal with that contrast?
Do you want to answer?
It's very challenging, because I'm a young woman. I'm still trying to chase my dreams.
And you're trying to find yourself.
I'm still trying to be me. But it's so hard in a society where so much is expected of me. I need to be vigilant, where else men could actually stop that whole thing of the raping, the banning, and everything. It's difficult. Like my everyday life now, it's what do I do now? Do I grow up so fast, and do I not do anything and stay indoors? Do I stop doing certain things because of A, B, and C, because of how men are treating us and whatever that's happening? So it's challenging.
Let's talk about you know, what we can do, and then, or maybe there's quarters that say there's certain things that, you know, that we, and that can be also construed as victim blaming. We're young girls, we're too expressive, we're too independent, we're too many things. You know, some will say there's some truth to that, because sometimes our parents, when they speak to us that way. They say, hey, tone down Khanya and Penny. You are too loud, you're too I mean, we're tired of, obviously, of being told that. But is there things that we also maybe need to be doing, or that we're doing, that we need to say, hey, maybe I need to change this? You know, I need to, are we also having those conversations? We're told we like things. I mean, we've been told. I can, at that age, I was told I like things, and I used to say things like me. They like me.
How do we? I think we also, you know, by changing civil society, by engaging with the police, also trying to change the constitution, maybe to reform laws. I think we need to, as women, engage in talking about self-love and empowerment, in which we say that being with a man is not the end all and be all of your life. And we need to say that, I know we need to have more conversations in which we say, the moment a man hits you, or the moment a man decides to degrade your self-worth, you need to leave. It cannot be a case of, I understand how it's so hard for some women to leave abusive relationships, but there's not a lot of conversations about self-love. It's more about relationships.
Before your relationship becomes described as abusive relationship, it starts at self-love. Are we having am I having the right conversation with you as my younger sister, as a younger woman, as an older woman? Am I having the correct conversation? Are we doing that?
You're engaging critically to understand how our society is working, and you're also trying to establish how we solve this situation, this crisis.
I'm saying generally, if you have an older woman who she's 26, is she showing you the blind spots, or is she saying, don't worry, Nana, just are we honestly, critically, truthfully talking to each other openly as women?
I just feel like the biggest lesson that our sisters and mothers forgot to teach us is to be content with ourselves.
To be content.
You need to be with yourself. You need to know that whatever you have, that is you, and at that moment, it's enough.
And if you can't afford anything else, if you can't
don't have to go an extra ball to have that thing. Eventually you will have it, but you need to move at a very
At your own pace.
At your own pace.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the more you fast, I mean, it's very cliche, but the more faster you are, that's how you crash. So therefore, take it.
Peaky
Kanyane fela, you know,
Yeah.
be content with yourself, be content with the things that are around you, and just know that where you're going, that's your goals. You just need to focus on
brothers, or you have brothers, you have uncles that you interact with, or peers that you grew up with, who are your friends, your own buddies, who are boys.
Right.
Okay. How do you guys have this conversation amongst yourselves?
Well, I always tell my male peers when they've crossed the line in terms of respecting my self-worth and saying things that they shouldn't say. So I find that on Facebook, a lot of the time, men will share posts or make statuses that is very degrading of women by saying certain terms. And also, I find that men tend to, when they're having conversations, they'll be like, yeah, you see how I cheated her last week, and then they high-five each other, have a beer. And the moment that increases to violent means, they tend not to correct the men. They rather say, no, but she should have been not wearing a short skirt, she should have been not walking by herself. So I always am very upfront with my male friends to say, you need to engage and understand and reflect how it is that you are abusive to your female counterparts.
We grow up surrounded by, we come from different families, and we do things differently, and all of that. You know, Candice can be very outspoken and very confident in expressing herself. You could be very timid and laid back. How do we have that conversation? You're out of order. Like the guy was saying, there's some things you'll get into, and they'll get you into deeper trouble, and you can't get out there. How do we have that conversation in a loving, affirming way that you were talking about?
I think firstly, your circle that you keep, it needs to be of what defines you in terms of, is it people who value life? Is it people who are very responsible? Because you can't be having people who are negative. You can't be having different views of how you view life. So first is,
but how do you not confuse that people are not negative? We're saying, okay, we're slaying, let's live it up. YOLO, you only live. I mean, those things sound like they're correct, but in the long run, some of it are very confusing. If I don't know what to slay, and I'm thinking this is what slaying is doing, and I want to do all of those things, and then I end up in trouble, I was trying to be positive.
I think at this moment, there's no excuse for you to be ignorant. You see these things, you read about them, there's too much information out there for you to be just getting on an Uber to go slay at a club around 1 a.m. You don't even have money. By now, you're very smart, I'm assuming, because you read these things, you see people missing. Therefore, as a woman, you take time to actually question yourself that, is it all of this worth it? You know, I don't have to experience it. Somebody experiences my lesson. So it's like there's lessons around us. You just need to stop being ignorant. You just need to stop slaying in a very stupid way.